Think about everything you learned as a child, no matter where you were raised. How can there be pleasure in saying you're fired? He's trying to tell us he cares about the middle class. Give me a break. That's a bunch of malarkey. This guy doesn't have a clue about the middle class. Not a clue.
So that was Vice President Joe Biden last night slamming Donald Trump in a passionate and emotional speech at the DNC. Biden calling it a bittersweet moment for he and his wife as he gave what could be, well, his last major address of his political career in many ways. Let's bring in Matthew Littman, former speechwriter for Joe Biden. You know, when I see him at events like that, and he's so into it, I feel like he wants to be president, and I'm still surprised he didn't run. Are you surprised that he's going out without running for president in this round?
No, you're always most popular when you're not running for president, and I think I agree with you. He'd like to be president. I'm sure that Joe Biden thinks, and I think, and I bet a lot of your audience does as well, that he'd be a really, really good president. But running for president, especially with how late he would have gotten into it, is an extraordinarily difficult thing to do, given what had happened with his son, and then raising the money. Biden's never been a great fundraiser. To go out and raise all that money is extraordinarily difficult. So I think, while I think he'd be a great president, and I'm sure he thinks about it often, this wasn't his time.
But was it about that? I mean, was it about what happened with his family and then also the fact that he would be raising money so late? Or did he sort of get muscled out by the Clintons?
So I really do believe that it was about his family and the fact that he couldn't raise the money. I think if Joe Biden, ego-wise, there's no way that Hillary's going to muscle out Joe Biden. Joe Biden's going to make that decision for himself. So if Joe Biden saw a path to raise that money and then felt emotionally as if he could do it, the commitment to run for president is obviously incredible. That is one of the reasons I admire Hillary, is the fact that she's just able to do this. If Biden thought that he could do that, he would have done it, and I don't think he thought he could do it.
I want to bring in Kristen Solstice-Anderson. She's a Republican pollster and a columnist for the Washington Examiner, joining us now. I know we were having a little trouble hooking you up, so we're glad you're here now. Let me ask you, do you think Joe Biden would have been a more formidable candidate watching that performance that he put on last night than Hillary Clinton for the Republicans?
In the general election, I think Joe Biden would have been really tough for Republicans to go up against, in large part because Joe Biden holds on to a piece of the Democratic coalition that has been slipping away under Hillary Clinton, and that's sort of these working class white voters in places like Scranton, Pennsylvania. It's precisely because of those voters that Donald Trump has been able to put a state like Pennsylvania theoretically in play in this presidential election, even as a state like perhaps Florida is tougher for him. Going after those Rust Belt states, that's the sort of place that Joe Biden comes from. That's the message he had in his speech last night. He would have certainly, I think, been stronger with those voters than Hillary Clinton.
Let me just interject for 1 second.
Go ahead,
Kristen,
Matthew.
who's, by the way, the best person that I've been on opposite over the last year. You should give her a full-time job on this channel. But let me just say this.
Say that?
No, she's really great. But
she is.
The poll came out today in Pennsylvania. I almost said Biden, has Hillary up by 9 points in Pennsylvania before she speaks tonight. So I think in terms of Pennsylvania, Hillary's already doing really well.
Kristen, though, Biden does appeal, as you said, to that exact group that Trump is siphoning off, which could make the critical difference in this election. What does Hillary have that Biden would be missing?
One of the things that Hillary Clinton brings to the table is that she does, for whatever reason, have a slightly more appeal to within the Democratic Party. Pardon me. If you looked at the polling back early on in the Democratic primary process, as Bernie Sanders was making his rise, he had tapped into this piece of the Democratic base, this energy, and it kind of really quickly became a race between Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. For someone like a Joe Biden or someone like a Martin O'Malley, who may have tried to have this white working class appeal within the Democratic primary, that's where he really struggled. And so there wasn't as much of a path for him. It would have been a very, very difficult race for him to win that Democratic nomination. It's the general election where I think he would have had a better shot than Hillary Clinton.
Matt, Senator Harry Reid, speaking to the Huffington Post, said that there is no plan B if there's future email dumps prove detrimental to Hillary Clinton's campaign. We saw the impact that the emails had at the beginning of this week, and this is one of those things. Wiki DNC has said that they have more and they will be releasing more. Do you think Joe Biden is standing by his plan B, even though Harry Reid says he is not?
I don't think there's anything to worry about on the Hillary front with the emails. I'd be way more concerned if I were the Trump campaign, given some of the things Trump said and how he feels about Putin. That's what I'd be worried about. I wouldn't be worried about Hillary's emails.
Nice deflection. I like that. You guys are fantastic. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.